Welcome back to Bulgaria and welcome back to Bdin Vidin in our Football Manager 24 Build a Nation save. So last season we completed phase 5 on our journey, which was win the title. Now we move into phase 6, which is to become dominant. Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of our Build the Nation save here on Football Manager 2024 with Bdin, where obviously we're looking to become one of the best nations in Europe in terms of football. But before we get into that, guys, just wanted to point out that I have started streaming on a Sunday. I stream iRacing. I'm a keen sim racer. I'm new to it, so I am still learning the ropes, but I've got myself a wheel, I've got iRacing, a decent computer to play it on, and I've decided to start streaming on a Sunday afternoon, possibly during the midweek as well. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to pop in and leave me a thumbs up on that stream as well. Help me grow a little bit. But yeah, if you could do that for me, guys, that would be fantastic. But getting back into today's episode, we've got the final day of the Champions League phase. We're obviously going to have a look back at how we've got on in that. We're going to have a look back at how the league's going as well since you were last with us. So I think we'll start there. So looking back over the highlights of how things have gone in the league since we were last here. We first of all took on Lokomotiv Plovdiv, and it was a nice, comfortable 3-0 win. Triantis, Sirikos and Clement with goals. A very, very good performance all round. Triantis had a fantastic game for us. Really pleased with the performance. Unfortunately, next time out we did drop points to Arda Karjali. A 1-1 draw away from home. Dimitar Mitkov give Karjali the lead in the 24th minute. Rosengren got one back right on the stroke of half-time. We're a little bit fortunate to get away with a point though, because we did concede a penalty in the 62nd minute, which Rusev missed, thankfully for us. We've played particularly poor in this one. Not a great performance, especially from a forwards point of view. You can see I have rotated the squad for this one. If you do look at the lineup there, we've got Timo Maas and Mads Bethelsen as the two strikers in this one. It's disappointing to drop the points though. Bounce back next time out though against CSK in 1948. Paolo Bernardo from the penalty spot. Rosengren again on the stroke of half time. Klimis Sirikos in the 71st minute. Wendell did get one back in the 68th minute, but we were ultimately able to hold on, which of course was fantastic. We deserved the win as well, looking at the match stats. Paolo Bernardo picking up the Man of the Match award. A difficult game away to Barreau followed. Toninho Guerrero got the only goal of the game in injury time at the end of the first half. So you can see that Gunnarsson has picked up the Man of the Match award. I don't know how, because he's only actually had one shot on target against him. But again, we played particularly well. Verhunig, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Verhunig and his lack of goal scoring. He's got a 6.3 there. It might be the role that he's playing in this system. I may look to change it. I think I've already mentioned this. I mentioned this last episode. I may look to change that. But we did pick up the 3 points, which is good. It was just a little bit closer than I would have liked. We managed to rescue a draw in the next game against Ludogorets Razgrad. Paolo Bernardo with the penalty in the 86th minute. That was after Rune Normheim had given Ludogorets the lead in the 21st minute. Very, very even game in terms of the match stats. We have dominated the ball again, which is something that we seem to do. But you can see again, we've got a slightly rotated squad. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has come in for this one. Diogo Silva's in as well. Verhunig again has played particularly poorly. So as I said, I'm possibly going to look to change his role. Although you can see down here, if you can see it past my head, I have actually played Verhunig as the advanced forward in this one, and he still played quite poorly. A draw against Ludogorets. Next up was a bit more like it. We went away to Hibar, of course newly promoted, and we took the lead through a Denis Nachev own goal in the 17th minute. Sirikos doubled the advantage just a minute later, before another couple of minutes later Rosengren scored to make it 3-0 in the space of 3 minutes. They did get one back through Shedrack Charles in the 46th minute, but Triantis scored our 4th of the game. They've had a lot of efforts, it has to be said. Triantis has also been sent off as well, which is a little bit disappointing. But Sirikos picks up the Man of the Match award, and it's a nice, comfortable 4-1 win. Unfortunately, Chernomorets Burgas were next up, and we got a draw against Chernomorets Burgas, which is a very, very poor result considering where Chernomorets are in the league table. Our on-loan goalkeeper Adam Papp has put in a 7.1 rating against us. He's faced 6 shots on target. The only one we scored was from the penalty spot, courtesy of Otto Rosengren. Albert Arnault picks up the Man of the Match as well. He's one of our players as well. Which is good. This is what the Build the Nation is about. We loan out our good young players to other teams in the same league, and it makes them better. And as you can see, it's worked well here for Chernomets-Burgas. From our point of view, it's disappointing to drop the points, but I don't mind because our boys are picking up some good performances here. We did make amends in the next game, though, against Levski Sofia. Of course, our first season in the top flight, they used to hammer us. And now we've definitely got the better of them. Hervé Andre, Diogo Clement with a double, and Rosengren from the penalty spot. Again, a very, very good performance in this one, and a nice comfortable 4-1 win. And we scored 4 the next time out as well against Chernomorvana. We went away this time. Paolo Bernardo, Christoph Danek and Philip Verhunig finally gets on the score sheet. Gets a double in this one. Doesn't quite pick up the Man of the Match award though, because Christoph Danek with his assist and his goal does get there. It was a very, very even game, but thankfully we've come out as the winners. And in terms of league games, guys, that's it. The 9 since you were last with us, I believe. We're currently level on points at the top of the table with Ludogorets. Levski Sofia are further 10 points behind us, so it does look like it's a 2-horse race again. We've got the slightly better goal difference. We do have a game in hand though, so if we do win that game in hand, then we are technically 3 points clear of Ludogorets, which is where we want to be, really. We want to be ahead of them. We don't want to be trying to chase them down. In terms of assists, Weverton having a great season. Danek's got the 3rd highest average rating in the table. Gunnarsson's the best goalkeeper in the league according to clean sheets, which is not quite there in terms of goal scorers, which again is something that is letting us down. And if we have a look at the goals, we're not doing too bad. We have scored 43, but a lot of them are coming from the midfield. Ludogorets have only scored 2 more than us, but we've conceded 4 less. So for once, it's our defence doing the business for us instead of the attackers. Right then, guys, looking through how we've got on in the Champions League now, and it's not been great, I have to say. It has not been great at all. Of course, we were here first time out against Crvena Zvezda, where we picked up the 0-0 draw. I was disappointed with that. I thought we could have won that one. But next up was Ajax at the Johan Cruyff Arena, and it was a comfortable win for Ajax. They were 3-0 up before we really did anything and got ourselves going in the game. Our only goal scorer, Diogo Clement. Very, very disappointing, it has to be said. The next game was much more encouraging. Man City came to Bdin, and the only goal of the game came from Erling Haaland in the 5th minute. We were in this game. Man City obviously had a lot more chances. They had a lot more of the ball than us. But to only lose 1-0 to Man City is a fantastic performance, I think. And the next game was very, very similar. Again, we've gone to the Estadio Metropolitano, and we've done quite well. Only losing 1-0 to Atleti Madrid. Marcos Llorente with the only goal of the game in the 51st minute. They have played better than us. Yes, we've had our chances though. Jan Oblak's had a 7.5 in goal for Atleti, which tells you we were in the game. It's another close game though that we possibly could have got something out of. And this is the kind of thing that we're going to have to improve going forward if we want to get anywhere with Bdin. Next up was what I, at the start of the season, considered to possibly be one of the winnable games against Basel. They came to Bdin and they've absolutely battered us without managing to score. We've had 1 shot in the entire game. We didn't hit the target. Basel have battered us, really. And we're very, very fortunate to get a point out of this game. Next up, though, was Juventus. And this is one that I expected us to not do so well in. And as you can see, we should have won, really. Rosengren missed a penalty in the 5th minute. In terms of the rest of the game, fairly even. 50-50 possession. We've had the same number of shots on target. We created more clear-cut chances, yes. We had our chances against Juventus, and unfortunately, we could not take them. We've played particularly well defensively again, though, which is encouraging to see. It's just the front 2 are letting us down a little bit. And then this happened. We went to the Estadio Santiago Bernabeu, and we got absolutely smashed. Absolutely smashed. We've had 33 shots against us, 20 on target. They've scored 11 of them. Look at our player ratings on the right-hand side. Just shocking. You can see Jamal Musiala there with a 10. Ben Sahir with a 10. Gonzalo Ramos, 8.6. Rodrigo. We were really, really, really bad. And it's very, very... embarrassing. It's an embarrassing result, to be honest. Right, guys, now that we're all up to date with what's happening, we are unfortunately out the Champions League. I did mention that earlier on in the season, though, that it was going to be tough for us to get anything from the Champions League group phase, but we are going to do our final game of the Champions League, and that is against Borussia Dortmund. We are at home for it, hoping to make up for that massive disappointment in the last Champions League game, that 11-0 defeat to Real Madrid. One thing to quickly note while I'm on the squad screen, you may notice that Rosengren has got a transfer organised at the end of his contract to Al-Qadsiya, I think that is. Unfortunately, I did offer him a contract, but he chose to go to Saudi instead. He's probably going to be offered massive amounts of money over there. So that's a downside that we've got so far. A couple of others, of course, we're not playing particularly well, particularly good in terms of goal scoring. Clement's got 11, but Philippe Verheeg has only got 2, which is a little bit disappointing. We're a little bit short as well, obviously squad registration rules and stuff like that. Triantis is away with Australia at the Asian Games, so yeah, I really need to start getting some homegrown players of decent quality coming through. But the lineup that we are going to start today with is going to be Gunnarsson in goal, of course the best goalkeeper at the club. Hervé Andre is going to have to play. He's still slightly injured, but due to the lack of options that I've got, Andre is going to have to play alongside Garcia, McNulty and Toninho Guerrero, who I think is going to be an absolutely fantastic player. He's sort of running out of time to meet his potential though. At 22 years old, he needs to start progressing a lot more, and that's obviously down to me. He needs to start playing a lot more football than he currently is. Into the midfield, Ali Marungu, who I believe is the best player at the club. 21 years old, he still does have some potential to reach as well, but he's absolutely fantastic. Passing of 17, technique, you know, decisions, anticipation. I think he's going to be world class, let's put it that way, and it's hopefully we can keep a hold of him. In the midfield, it is the aforementioned Rosengren who's leaving. Danex had a good season, of course, signed him earlier on. He has had a good season, has the Czech. Zabala is going to come in on the left side today. Nenad actually picked up a suspension in the last game against Real Madrid, picked up a yellow card, so he is suspended. Weverton, who's had a great season so far, still hasn't been called up to the Bulgaria squad, which I thought he might have been by now, but he is starting to decline a bit, so the right wing back is something that we are going to have to look at for next season. I might use this tactic again next season, you see. Verhoenig, who really needs to start scoring goals. He's got the ability to do it, he just needs to start doing it. And then alongside him is on loan Diogo Clement, who is finding the back of the net, but still not quite as often as I would like him to. So that's the lineup for our final game of the season in terms of Champions League football, guys. So let's get into it. And we're underway, and we're hoping for a much better performance than what we put in against Real Madrid. Unfortunately, Julian Brandt has got this free kick very early on, and he's gone very close. Now we're playing on a snowy pitch with a white ball. It's going to be quite difficult for me to see that white ball, guys, so I'll try and keep up with it as best as I can. But we've already done better than we did against Real Madrid. We were 2-0 down at this point against Real Madrid. Of course, we were at the Santiago Bernabeu. I think our aim now is just not to finish bottom of the Champions League phase. But I did mention at the start of the season that we're going to have quite a poor, as Julian Brandt does now give Borussia Dortmund the lead, we're going to have quite a poor sort of European coefficient run, because we've gone straight into this Champions League group phase, and the teams that we've been drawn against is absolutely astronomical in terms of us having to do anything. So we're going to have to rely on the other teams for a little bit longer until we can start to build that, you know, squad full of world-class players. We're sort of getting there with some of the youngsters we've got. They just need to reach their potential. There's now Kaufmann comes forward for Dortmund, comes back to Norby, down the line towards Bino Gittins, right into Kaufmann, and Mikhail Kaufmann makes it 2-0 to Borussia Dortmund after 27 minutes. That's not great. We are going to get the VAR check though, guys. Hopefully he's offside. I don't want this to be another rout in Europe. It's onside. We're looking at another rout in Europe to one of the big teams, which is not great. We need to start causing some upsets. And at the half-time, it is just a 2-0, which is better than what we did against Real Madrid, I do have to say. I am going to have to change Hervé Andre, though. I'm going to have to put one of the kids in there. unfortunately. But we're having some chances this time around. Hillenbrandt with the corner for Dortmund. Towards that near post, and Bauer, who's hit the crossbar with the header. Good header there from Bauer, good corner. Attendances are starting to creep up as well, guys. You may notice we're at 7,200 for this one. I think our record is 8,000 and something against, I can't remember who it was, but they came to, obviously, Bulgaria for the Champions League. Here's Danek. A first chance for us to see the Bdin players on the ball. It's Tonino Guerrero. Feeds it to Ali Murungu. Out to the right-hand side, and Lashkov, who I did bring on for Hervé Andre. It's Weverton. Feeds it inside to Vahunig, back to Lashkov. Garcia McNulty using that libero role, stepping further forward than Ali Murungu does. Now Lashkov again with the long ball forward, looking for Clement. Doesn't get there, but Danek picks up the pieces, feeds it to the left, and Zabala. It's a poor pass though. Zabala has to check his run. Comes back to Tonino Guerrero. Zabala again. Tonino Guerrero switches the play beautifully over towards Weverton. First time cross for Clement. It's a great save by Lotka in goal. I think Clement was offside anyway, but that's a fantastic little bit of football there from a Bdin point of view. Again, Bdin with the ball. Danek loses it though to Kaufman, and now it's Nmecha into Kurti. Kurti using some pace there. It's a nice move, and it's a shocking finish. It's a shocking finish from Kurti. Did all the hard work, and then he's gone and done that. We've got some poor performances in this squad. We need to make some big squad improvements if we're going to be competitive in the Champions League. Nmecha again down the line towards Kurti. Can he find the finish this time? Gunnarsson's had to tip it over, but I don't think it was on target anyway, if I'm being truthful. As Brandt with the corner towards that near post again, and again it's a Dortmund player who gets his head on the ball, but again, fortunately for Bdin, has gone over into the final couple of minutes, guys. Much better performance than what we put in against Real Madrid. It's still not great. We have still lost. We've had chances though. We've just got the quality of the lack of quality, sorry, compared to the other teams is. We've been found out a little bit in terms of European football, and it just shows you how far the Bulgarian league still has to come, which is what our job is. So, just a confirmation of where we do finish in the Champions League phase. We finish in 34th out of 36 teams, which again is not great. Dortmund sneak in on the last day with that win over us. We're only a point behind Monaco, which is, you know, it tells you something. But yeah, a minus 17 goal difference, no wins, 3 draws, 5 defeats is very poor from a Bdin point of view. I've just noticed that Vinicius Junior is at Paris Saint-Germain there, so there's some transfers going on which I've not really been paying attention to, because I've just been paying attention to Bulgaria. You've got Amanda Broyer there at Porto, Vinicius Junior at PSG. I know that Musiala is at Real Madrid. Lian Meslier, the Leeds goalkeeper, is at Milan, which, you know, tells you some weird transfers going on. But unfortunately, that's not great from a Bdin point of view. 34th out of 36 teams. Hopefully we can improve on that next season. In terms of what we're going to do for the rest of this season, though, guys, I think I'm just going to play through to the end of the season. Of course, we're at the point now where European football is what we're here for, really, isn't it? So I am just going to play. I'm not going to come back at the end of the preliminary phase. I'm going to come back and I'll do the last game of the championship group, or if we're in the position, the game which we win the championship in. That's what I'm going to do. But until then, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. So cheers, and I'll see you later.